Hi, this is HardballRetro. Welcome to the Retrodome. Today we'll be doing the first of a multi-part tutorial with Diamond Mine Baseball version 12 on how to conduct a solo draft. Okay, so I fired up Diamond Mine Baseball and just looking at the About window, it's version 12B. The game was originally programmed by Tom Tippett. I had the DOS versions of Pursue the Pennant. I think I had version 5 and Pursue the Pennant 5, and then it was rebranded as Diamond Mine Baseball, and I had version 6 back in the day. The game eventually was converted to Windows-based, and Tom Tippett eventually got out of the simulation business and was hired on as a member of the Boston Red Sox front office. So the game is still available now. It's up to version 12B. And so let's go in and get started here. So I'm going to copy an existing database. Alright, and I already created one for testing purposes, but I'll just rename this one as all-time greats dash draft. Alright. Hit OK. It's going to make a copy. And then once I get control of the mouse back here, there we go. Alright, I want to go to Tools and I want to release all players. And not from one team, I want to release all teams in this database. Sure. Cool. Alright, now I'm going to go to View, Organizer. I'm going to maximize that. I'm going to go to Drafts. Now, this is the one I was testing with. I'm just going to create a new one. So we'll call it All Time Greats Draft League. Alright, we're going to do, let's do 35 rounds, and draft order reverses each round. Hit OK. Alright, and I'll double click into that guy. And let's look at our options here. Going to be Anaheim, and I'm set to human GM already because of what I set up with my previous. But I can do all computer, right? That just changed my H to a C here. I could set it to all human, or I can right click on a given team and toggle it here. So I'm going to go back to human GM for Anaheim. Everybody else will be computer drafted. I'll use this draft order, it's fine. So I'll hit freeze draft order. Alright. And then you've got several tabs up here. It's going to show the available players. You can sort them on base, slug, whatever. You can go to secondary. There's different tabs on the bottom here. You can look at fielding ratings, etc. Let's say I want to do OPS, right? And then pitchers, I can sort on, I don't know what's under secondary here. I could do a reverse OPS, right? Probably get a bunch of relievers down there, but that's fine. Alright, and then picks. Well, nobody's made a selection yet, so this will start to fill in as we go. Alright, so what I want to do up top now is auto draft, and I'm going to click until the next team with a human GM. So that should, the computer's going to make the first 25 picks here. And let's do that. Alright, you can see the red highlight going down the list here. Okay, now it's my pick. So, but I have no idea who was chosen yet. So if I go over to this tab up here, picks. Alright, and I can see John Clarkson, Kid Nichols, Jack Chesbro. Sandy Koufax, Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson. So all pitchers in the top 6. All right, then we have Hannes Wagner, Babe Ruth, Grover, Alexander, Barry Bonds, Ed Walsh, and so forth. It's Ty Cobb off the board. Garrick, Hornsby, Duffy, Gleason, so forth. Like my other draft tutorials, I haven't done any draft prep. I'm just going to kind of wing it here. So I would just preface that by don't go nuts if I make a selection that you don't agree with. You know, I'm not sitting here studying this, otherwise we would be here probably for days if I was just going to try to figure out who I'm taking every single round. So here's who's available based on OPS. So batting wise, we've got quite a list of players to choose from here. And I'm just going to take a look at the pitchers here. Again, I could do this instead of OPS. I could do it on, I don't know. I mean, if I do it by ERA, it's going to be a bunch of relievers as well. If I was looking for a reliever, I would probably look at saves, innings. Got any 300 inning guys? Yeah, plenty of 300 inning guys. You go by strikeouts, Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go back and look at OPS for pitchers. So the best pitcher, starting pitcher-wise, right, is Dutch Leonard, based on OPS. Let's see any other starters here. Harry Krause. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of dead ballers probably. Yeah. Yep. Okay. There's Greg Maddux. Maddux wouldn't be a bad pick here. But I come up in the reverse order. I come up pretty quickly here, so I'm going to go batter pitcher. Ted Williams, that's just an insane OPS. I don't think I could pass that up. So, right, highlight Williams. Right, there's his numbers. I didn't import player images. You can if you want to. Alright, so okay. Alright, so I've got, let me just see what options are here. Okay, these are the sorting options. Not going to mess with that. Okay, but basically you've got some options for sorting as well here. Alright, so I can either right click and draft, or I can highlight the player and hit draft player. Okay. Alright, so now let's go back to the main screen. Auto draft until next human GM. Okay, do I have to do something to advance to the next round here? It should be my pick now, right? Yeah, here we go. Let's see. I've got, alright, after I picked Williams, so Jesse Haynes, Joe Wood, Willie Mays came off the board, Marichal, Jackie, Dazzy Vance, Archie Vaughan, Gaylord Perry. So it's my pick, so I could go Greg Maddux here. And I may very well do that. He's still on the list. Have a feeling he's going to come off the board if I don't, but let's just look at batting again. It's so hard not to pick one of those guys, but I'm going to go with Maddox. Draft this player. Yes. Alright, now we're going to go back to the main screen. Alright, and we're going to go to auto draft until next team with a human GM. Alright, and we're back to me, so let's go look at the picks real quick here. Whoa, that's a lot of guys taken, right? A lot of guys coming off the board. Okay, the Mick, Bert Blyleven, Mordecai Brown, Joe DiMaggio, Ricky Henderson off the board, Joe Morgan, Barry Larkin, Tris Speaker, Jimmy Fox. Look at all these guys. Yount and Ripken back-to-back, shortstop's gone. Carlton, 72 season. Pedro Martinez. Mike Trout came off the board. Bob Gibson. Okay, look at that. Alright, so who's left? You're going to say like, oh my, there's no one left for me to take here. And yes, there is. There's plenty of guys left to take. I'm not going to, but let's just look at the pitchers list again. And this is way too early, in my opinion, to grab a closer. Starting pitchers, Kraus, Pfister, Pelty, Tannehill, Tiant. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe OPS isn't the best way to look at this for pitchers. Greinke, Arrieta, Don Sutton, Rulback. There's the Gator, Dean Chance, Doc Gooden. Okay, plenty of good pitchers out here. I'm gonna look at a batter. Going to look at. Let's see here. Okay, let's not overthink this. Plenty of guys on the board here. I mean, I know it's a short season due to the strike, but Frank Thomas's numbers are pretty incredible. Going with Frank Thomas. Alright, I go back here, I go to my pick until next team with human GM, so this is where I'm kind of short on the list, so it comes right back to me. Let's see where we left off here. So I got Frank Thomas, okay, Sosa, A-Rod. Okay, cool. So do I want to go back to the well with, you know what I want to do? I want to get Albert here. I know he's a little bit down on the OPS list here, but Albert Pujols, you are mine. So I'm going to have, looks like he can play left field also. Nice. Well, so can Teddy Williams. Basically, between Williams, Pujols, and Thomas, I'll figure out a DH. That's not an issue. I'm not even worried about that at all. Okay, bam. Alright, Albert's on my team. Go until the next round. So I've got Greg Maddux. I need another pitcher, I guess, probably next. And this is one of those scenarios, all-time greats. There are no scrubs in this, so kind of it is what it is, right? Where did we leave off? I was here, Albert. Okay, McGuire, Frank Robinson, McLean, Feller, Grove, Ozzie, Fergie Jenkins. Look at all these guys coming off the board here. There goes the Gator. Jim Palmer, Randy Johnson, Chipper, Nolan Ryan off the board, Wade Boggs. Alright, so I'm up. Let's look at batters again, just for giggles. Look at Bagpipes still out here. Hack Wilson, center field. That's a tough one to ignore. I mean, I just don't need Bagwell. I don't have a place for him, so. Chuck Klein is there. George Brett is still there. Again, you've got to figure out what you're going to do in those 40 some odd games where he's going to miss time, potentially. Nice problem to have, though. And just for giggles, let's sort on average here. Bill Terry. Alright, well, I didn't really think this through, but I do want Rod Carew. Let's check on pitchers for a second here. Let's look at this slightly differently here. Schilling, J.R. Richard. Complete games. Shutouts. Dean Chance would be a nice pick. Yeah, I think we're going to Dean Chance it here. Draft Dean Chance. Okay, cool. Mike Witt, 86 goes. Bobby Mercer, Phil Rizzuto, MVP. Phil Rizzuto goes. Alright. Yeah, I know I didn't think the whole first base thing through, but I want Rod Carew, so I'm going to make that work. I will figure out the lineup issues later. Draft. Okay. We'll fit a square peg into a round hole, or somebody's going to sit, but Rod Carew is my leadoff hitter, so that's that. Let's look at pitchers again. Okay. There's just so many good pitchers here, it's ridiculous. Let's look at... Alright, Maris is still out there. I mean, this is like just incredible. I'm not certain. I think this database might have gone up to 2017, so we did get Aaron Judge's 52 homer season here. Let's look at OPS again. Man, Bagwell's still sitting out there. Helton, I can't take any of these guys. I got no room for him. Hack Wilson I could take. Not much on the defensive side of things, but man, that OPS is pretty stout. Hack Wilson it is. Right. Until next pick. Then we'll go back to the pitching side. Okay, we are looking at go down the list a little bit here. Nothing against like Harry Krause and some of these guys, Pelty, Tannehill, Kershaw's still out here. Jose Fernandez, Matt Harvey, Hippo Vaughn. Rube Waddell. Look at Cal Eldred there. Sam McDowell, Sudden Sam. Alright, I'm going too far down the rabbit hole here. Let's keep it simple. Where's, Mo Rivera's still here. Would be nice to have a closer, lockdown closer like that. What year is that? It's 2005 Mo. Only struck out 80 and 78 and a third. Where's Kirsch? What was Kirsch's numbers here? 16 and 7, 301 Ks, 232 innings. I'm going with Kirsch. Alright, bam. Here we go. More guys coming off the board. Does keep track over here on the right. I forgot to mention number of batters, number of pitchers. Okay, looks like it's back to me already. Let's take a look at the picks that came off since I last made a selection. Okay, so I did okay, a couple of good guys after Hack Wilson here. I mean, these are all good players, so what am I talking about? Okay, Yaz goes, Albert Bell, right, Maurer, Killebrew, Greenberg. I mean, just, that's why this is the all-time greats organization, right? But Mario Soto, Clemente. Alright, so I need a right fielder, I need a, well, actually I can do this. Where is it here? Right, show roster. Carew, Chance, Kershaw, Maddox, Pujols, Thomas, Williams, Wilson. That's his fielding, yeah, first base, left field. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a problem here. It's a nice problem to have, but I've got a problem. Well, Williams could play right field for me. Not really, but sorta. Okay, let's get back to this. So if I go on that assumption where it's a Pujols, Hack Wilson, and Ted Williams outfield, Carew at first, Frank Thomas DH, so I need second, short, and third. So I can just kind of scroll down the list here and look for those positions. I could filter it on that probably, but I'm not going to bother. So the first third baseman that comes up is Caminiti. I've got Gloss and Roland. Freddie Lindstrom. Dan Murphy at second. Oh, Ernie Banks at short. What year of Ernie do we have here? 58 Ernie, 47 and 129. I think I'm liking that. I don't see an issue with that there. Ernie Banks is my shortstop. Bam. There we go. Alright, auto pick until the next time I come up, which is coming right back to me here. Alright, I'm up again. Who came off the board? Oh, how did I miss Mike Schmidt there? Oh, he went right before Ernie. Okay, that's why. Man, how did Mike Schmidt last that long? Oh well. Yeah, you can see Nomar, Maury Wills, Jimmy Rollins, a bunch of shortstops coming off the board there. Okay, I still need second and short. And then maybe we'll go back to the well for some more pitching here in a minute. Let's see. Hubie Brooks, Brett Boone. I'm not super stoked about the options I've got here. Frankie Frisch. I mean, how is Hank Aaron still out here? And he can play right field and first base. I mean, I'm sorry, but Hank Aaron is still here. I'm taking Hank Aaron. I don't care. I've got a lineup conundrum that I'll worry about later, right? Auto pick. Not leaving Hank Aaron on the board there. Sorry, folks. Just not happening. We will get him into the lineup. I'm going to need a big shoehorn here. The entire team is first base DH types. But, alright, let's look at who was taken here after Hank. Yeah, Vladdy G, senior. Jimmy Edmonds, Goldschmidt, Goose Goslin, Tim Salmon comes off. Alright. Oh, Robbie Cano, don't you know? I do need a catcher, huh? I forgot about that. Catcher, second, and third. Unfortunately, that wasn't a year that Albert played third, huh? Okay. Right, I don't think so. Double check. No, first base left. Thought I looked at that already. Alright, so I need a shortstop. I've got Maddox, Kershaw, Chance. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm sure I can get some more pitching in a moment here. Batters. Catchers, Javi Lopez is nice. Jack Clements, Bill Dickey. Gabby Hartnett. You know, Gabby's got 100 more at-bats than Javi Lopez there, and he's got awesome numbers. Think we're going to do that. Campanella. What Campanella year is that? 41 and 142. Well, I think I just changed my mind. Yep, we're going with Campy behind the dish here. Draft Roy Campanella. Okay, Next pick. Alright, right back to me. And batters. I did not get a third baseman yet. I think I'm missing a third baseman, yeah. Gonna go with Angels, Troy Gloss, I think, here. Batters. Just take a quick look here. Gloss 2000, 47 and 102. Got Tony Perez out here. Phil Nevin. I want a couple Angels on my team, so there are just tons of good players here. All right, Troy Gloss, bam, you're my third baseman. So all I need is second base. I need some pitching next. Let this cycle through here. So this runs at a pretty fair clip here, so you can get through a draft in a decent amount of time. All right, let's look at the last handful of picks here. All right, Gloss was taken. Sorry, after Campanella, it was all those guys. All right, yeah, Jose Ramirez, I thought he would go. Oh, Jared Weaver goes right after Gloss. Okay. Doug DeCinces. There, yep, Hartnett went. Yogi. Kirby Puckett goes. Okay, so let's grab, what did I say? We need a second baseman and then some pitching, right? So what do we got left at second here? We got Dan Murphy. 347, 25, 104. He's not the greatest fielder, but I don't think too many of my players are great fielders, to be honest. What have we got here? Fernando Tatis Sr., third base. Ubi Brooks. George Grantham. Jay Bell, second base. Frankie Frisch, switch hitter. 346, 10, 114. I'm going to go with Frankie Frisch. All right. Auto draft. Next pick. Coming right back to me here. Pitchers. Let's take a look. We haven't looked at pitchers in a while. Okay, a bunch of closers still out here. Mo Rivera's still here. I'm going to go with a starter. Okay, yeah, all these guys, Pelty and Tannehill, still here. Let's see if I look at it a little bit differently here about ratings. What ratings do we have? Nah, I'm not going to do that. Let's look at strikeouts. Sudden Sam, but he's got a ton of walks. Chris Sale, that's an awesome season there. Might do that. Lolich, Scherzer, awesome numbers. 43 walks, 308 Ks, but only one complete game. Frank Tanana, former Halo. He's got nice numbers here. Yeah, it's just a different era, right? Scherzer, one complete game. Jeez. got guys like, you know, Fernando, 20 complete games. Strasburg, no complete games. Rube Marquard. Let's look at shutouts. Hubble. Alright, let's not think too hard about this. I'm not worried about the complete games, to be honest with you, so maybe I'll go Sale here. Alright. Let's check out the roster now. Okay, we've got a catcher, a number of first basemen, second base, shortstop Banks, third base Kloss, Pujols, Wilson, Williams. Probably want to get a good defensive outfielder here to late inning replacement. And then Maddox, Kershaw, Sale, Chance. Alright, so now we need a closer. Let's get out of this. Auto pick. Get our closer now. We'll get our backups. Still need one more starter, actually. There's just so many out here. It's embarrassment of riches, maybe would be one way to put it. So let's see who else we got here. Got the old blue circle in Windows here, waiting for my machine to respond again. Alright, who was taken? Okay, Lofton, Kimbrel. Lofton would have been great to have. Alright, Ichiro, Sosha, Pudge Rodriguez, Munson. Look at all these guys. Alright, next up, what did I say? Let's get another pitcher. What if we go Scherzer here? Draft. And then auto pick. Okay, coming back to me here. We're in round 16. Let's get our let's look at OPS again. Mo Rivera's still here. Mo Rivera. Round 16. That just tells you the amount of talent that's on the board here. It's crazy. Alright. Get the blue wheel again here. Get our auto picks done. And wait for it to give me control back here, and then make 2 new picks. So just thinking we want a backup infielder, a backup outfielder. We need some bullpen help. We need some, maybe one more starter as maybe a spot starter, long reliever kind of guy. I'll just start filling in with these Hall of Fame or Hall of Very Good type of players here. Alright, my turn. Let's select another pitcher. Let's see, Ks per 9 maybe. Carlos Marmol, Araldis, Billy Wagner. How about Billy Wagner setting up for Rivera, right? Let's do that. Got Kenley Jansen out here, all these guys. It's incredible. Alright, let's Billy Wagner it. Draft. Okay, do the next team on the list. Okay, back to me again. Take another reliever. Can't go wrong here with any of these guys. Kenley Jansen fan. So let's go with Kenley. Alright, so we've got 3 amazing relievers. Let's go to auto pick again until it gets back to me. I saw Troy Percival still out there, so another Angel. Might have to pick him off the list. And for my bench, I wanted to see if Wally Joyner was out there. I know I don't need a first baseman, but one of my favorite all-time players. I already got Carew, so might as well get Joyner to a couple at-bats off the bench for us, maybe. I don't know. At least he'll be on my team if he's still out here. If he's on this all-time greats, I think he should be, but I didn't look at the list ahead of time, to be honest. So, alright, waiting for the computer to give me control back here. Got the old blue circle again, Windows 10. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Alright, so let's look at by name, I guess. This is by last name, so yeah, Joyner is still here, 87 Joyner. Alright, you're on my team now. Honestly, most of these folks are going to be reserves. We're going to go with Troy Percival next, assuming he's still there. Is he still here? I thought I saw him on the list here. There he is. Percy. Bam. Okay. Good with Percival now. And let's go to, I'll stick with pitchers here. K-Rod. Sure. Oh, Brian Harvey's here. Look at all these. Gonna go with Brian Harvey. Oh, I think I put him on the wrong team. I did. I think there's a way to undo a pick. Let's see. Well, this would be a good time to pull up the old help system. Making manual picks. Is there? I thought there was a way to undo a pick here, because I didn't mean to put Brian Harvey on Chicago. That was an accident. Let's type in undo. Nope. Draft. Draft pick. Working with draft picks. Deleting a draft pick. Delete a pick. Can't delete a pick that's already been made. Reverse that pick first. Reversing a draft pick. Use the reverse selected pick command to release a drafted player back into the free agent pool. Reverse selected pick. Okay. So where are we here? Do I go to picks maybe? Here we go. Reverse selected pick. Yep. Cool. Alright. That's how you do that. You go into picks, right click, and reverse. Okay, now let me do what I meant to do, which was allow the auto pick to do its thing. And there we go. Alright, just waiting for this to come back around to be my turn. And we're on, what, pick number 21, it looks like. Okay, so now, if we go back to pitchers, let's try this again. Brian Harvey on my team. Bam. Okay, now, let it pick ahead until it comes back to me. Alright, and just to clean up all of the Angels closers here, we'll get K-Rod. Alright, and go back to the auto pick again. Alright, let it do its thing. Alright, now I'll get the backups, infield, outfield, so forth. Maybe we'll take a look at my roster to see what I'm missing. The team seems pretty stacked, but probably so does the rest of the league here if I look at their rosters, so. So my plan is when the draft is completed here, I'll go in and show how to set the lineup and rotation and bullpen for one team. Then I'll go ahead and offline I'll do it for the other teams, and then I'll create a new video where we simulate a season and potentially a third video to review the results. So that's the plan, that's the goal. Alright, let's see if we can wrap up the draft here. We're on round 23. I need some hitters. I need some infielders, so I can look by position now. Baerga, I had him on some of my fantasy teams. Who else we got here? I mean, there's just so many people still. Oh, Earl Averill, center field. He's center field only. Okay. Again, most of these guys being superstars, they're not going to have multiple positions, so that's going to come in handy if I can locate somebody in that realm. How is Don Mattingly 86 still out here? I'm sorry guys, but look at Tony Gwynn. Alright, I'm drafting Don Mattingly. Now I might have gone with Mattingly 85 for this. I don't know why they went with 86 per se, but whatever. And Tony Gwynn 97. He's going to be a right fielder only. Yep, that's fine. We're picking Tony Gwynn off this list. Auto draft. Alright, just waiting for the control to come back to my team here. I'm just curious who's still out here pitching-wise. Mickey Lolich. And just curious to see if there's like a starter reliever, but probably not in this. Sam Jones, 50 and 35. 40 and 26. There's a couple guys. Kind of a long relief slash spot starter, just in case I need somebody. Okay, former Angel, Frank Tanana. Boom. Okay, come on back around. And how about hitters wise? Let's see, what did I still need? Just some backups. Oh, we need a backup catcher. Who's our catcher here? Ed Bailey is a catcher. Lieberthal. Chris Iannetta. Little thin at catcher, yeah. Varitek, Steinbach, Fletcher. Campanera's going to get most of my starts, so I'm not really concerned about catcher. I do want one, but not yet. Alright, what else did I need? Second base, Kinsler. I mean, these guys just aren't really going to play enough to really matter much. Too low at short. Guillen. Andrew Jones for defense, maybe. Okay, I'll get too low to back up Ernie Banks. Sure. Okay. Okay, my pick coming up here, 27th pick. Let's just look at the roster really quick here. Oh, that's not my roster. Hold on. It's a good roster, whoever it is, but it's not mine. There we go. It's like a who's who here. Aaron Banks, Campanella, Carew, Chance, Frisch, Gloss, Quinn, Harvey, Jansen, Joyner, Kirsch, Maddox, Mattingly, Percival, Pujols, Rivera, K-Rod, Sale, Scherzer, Tanana, Big Hurt, Tulo, Wagner, Teddy Ballgame, and Hack Wilson. Alright, So, what do I need? I'm going to say not much. I've got 6 closers. I've got 6 starters. Oh, that's pitcher's batting. Don't care. Lineup, I didn't set that yet, but let's just look positionally. I've got too many first basemen. I'm going to say I need a backup center fielder. I need a backup catcher. I need a backup second baseman. Really don't need much. Alright. Backup center fielder, Averill, Blackman. Andrew Jones would be a great defensive replacement. What's his? That's his 51 and 128 year. I'm kind of liking that. Bam, Andrew Jones. Okay. And second base, J. Bell, Jose Vidro, Davey Johnson, LeMahieu. Most of these guys are offensive. How about Kinsler? 1871, 26, not bad. 319 average. Johnny Hodap. Dan Ugla. Yeah, very offensive heavy, I'd say, for the most part here. How about some team speed? I don't have much in the way of speed, do I? Lou Brock, 118 steals. Be a nice pinch runner to have late in the ball game. What do you think? Lou Brock is on the team. Okay. Back to auto. Grab some pitchers, and then we'll get our second baseman and our catcher, I think. Okay. Coming up on pick number 29 out of, I think I specified 35 rounds, right? So, I mean, I could have done 40 rounds and still been picking Hall of Famers off the list here, so. Or near Hall of Famers, at least. So, that's that's my main issue with a player pool like this, is there's just too many good players, but for tutorial purposes, this worked out fine. What did I say? Second base we need. Should we go for team speed? Should we, I like Eric Young. Eric Young. Bam. One of my favorite fantasy players back in the day. I picked him up when really late rounds in 92 or 93, I forget. But all right, and then we need a catcher. Let's search by position here. I don't really know what we're sorted on other than catcher, to be honest here. Eberthal has 31 dingers. Might not be a bad guy to have off the bench. Alright, now we're down to first base. Sandy Alomar was one of my fantasy players back in the day. Tony Pena's got some nice numbers. Steve O'Neill, 39 doubles. I don't want to overthink this, so we're going to pick somebody soon here. Go with Sandy Alomar Jr. Bam. Alright, so now I got my backup at I think every position. We could maybe use one more outfielder. Oh, did I pick him on the wrong team? Let me see. Did I mess that up? I did. Undo. Oopsie. Forgot to do this. I'm glad you're able to undo a pick here. Let's try that again. Now it's my pick. Where's Sandy? There he is. And there we go. That's better. Alright, and we're coming up on pick number, that was pick number 30 for me. Got 5 more rounds to go. And maybe one more batter, but mostly pitching, I think, here. Maybe, did I get a backup third baseman? I don't think I did. Alright, maybe a backup third baseman for Gloss. Yeah, I think I need a third baseman. And then we'll just fill out the pitching staff. Okay. Waiting for this to come back around. We'll get our third baseman. And then we'll wrap up with 4 pitchers, I think. Something like that. Third base, who do we got? Arenado. I might just do Arenado here. Not a bad player to get towards the end of the draft here. I mean, just crazy good players we're not going to end up with. Nolan Arenado, draft. Bam. Okay. Alright, come back to me, grab a couple pitchers here. Lolich is still out here. I mean, can't go wrong with Mickey Lolich, right? You know what I didn't do is, let's go back to this for a second. I didn't get any like setup guys or anybody that can go more than an inning, so maybe that would be something to consider at least here. Middle relief, Betances. That looks really good. Marmol. He can only go 1 inning. What can Betances do? Little over an inning. Somebody like Willie Hernandez, though, 80 games, 140 innings. Cy Young winner. That might be the way to go here. You know, somebody like a Hoyt Wilhelm. Yeah. Lee Smith, what did he do back in the day? Those are pretty good numbers. Orozco, 83, I remember. A lot of innings out of the pen. Mike Marshall, 72. That wasn't even the year he pitched 106 games or whatever. Quisenberry 83, 69, 139, 11 walks. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Quiz. Okay. And auto pick. Get a couple more guys. A couple more pitchers here. I mean, that's just, how are these guys still out there? It's just that there's so many of them that we're going to look at the end and there's going to be solid superstar Hall of Fame, near Hall of Fame players that are still on the list. So, it is what it is. This is just for fun anyway. All right, back to me. Another pitcher. I mean, this is just incredible. Who's still out here? Middle relief, middle relief. I mean, some of these guys that are, yes, they're the closer, but they can just pitch innings. They can just gobble up innings here. Not that I need that, but for those couple of pitchers that don't complete games, it would be good to have, right? So, oh, it looks like Willie Hernandez came off the board, so waited a little too long on that one. Johnny Franco, yeah, he doesn't, nothing wrong with that many innings, but Tug McGraw, twice as many innings as games. Wilhelm. Let's go with Hoyt Wilhelm, sure. Auto pick. And let's get one more starter just in case, I guess. A little Fernando Mania. There we go. Okay, that was pick 34, so I got one more pick. Right, let's let that go. Okay, final round, final pick for Anaheim coming up. I've got 19 batters and 15 pitchers. I've got the most pitchers of any team here, so I think I'll go back and grab one more. I know it's overkill, but I'll grab another batter, I guess, here. Let's see, best batter available based on, let's just, for giggles, let's do, let's check. Pie Trainer has the highest batting average. Zeke Benura, top on base. David Ortiz still out here with a 636 slug. Most doubles, 53 by Cirillo. Triples, 22 by Daubert. Homers, 54 by David Ortiz. I mean, he'd be a nice guy to have off the bench, right? And I'm guessing he's the OPS leader. Let's see that. Yep, that's David Ortiz. Just quick scanning the list here. Yeah, sure. take you. Alright, and auto draft until next human GM. That should be 35 rounds for everybody. Okay, now if we go, I'm assuming now that we can close out of the draft window here and go to players, leagues. That's not what I want. I want to go back to roster manager profile for the Angels. There we go. Here we go. There's my roster. Alright, so let's look at the pitching staff first of all. So we've got starter, right? Got the different options over here in the drop down. Starter, we're going to go with, I don't know, Maddox, number 1. Insert player, Maddox. Number 2, who did I select second here? I can't recall. Let's, got some lefty-righty options, so let's just mix things up. We're going to go with Kersh, right? Insert player, Kershaw, then we'll go with Dean Chance third. I know he can start and relieve that year too, but I want him in my rotation. Fourth up, we'll go with Sale, and then fifth, we'll go Scherzer, I think. There, Sale, Scherzer, fifth. Alright. Rotation size is 5. Okay. And then spot starter would be, who do we have? Tanana, Valenzuela. Might be missing somebody. Tanana. Okay, next, mop up. Wilhelm will be our mop up guy, I guess. Long relief. Let's work backwards here. Let's go to closer. Closer versus righty is going to be Mo Rivera. And closer versus lefty, Mo Rivera. Setup versus righty. I mean, we've got so many here. So I'm gonna go with Harvey because I like Brian Harvey. And secondary is gonna be Percival. Alright, setup versus lefty is gonna be Wagner. And that's all. That's the only lefty reliever I grabbed, so I guess he's my setup versus lefties. And long relief will be Quisenberry, K-Rod, Kenley, something like that. Alright, can always mess with this later. Saved lineup. This will be, this is versus righties using DH games. Okay. Versus right-handers. Okay. Alright, well, I wanted Carew in there, so I insert player at First base. I don't think he played any second back then, did he? 1980. Oh, he did. Oh, well, that might solve things for us. I know defensively it's not gonna be great, but all right, Carew's gonna play second. All right, and that maybe gets one of these other guys in the lineup here, right? So I've got Donnie Baseball. I've got Ted Williams is going to hit third. Insert. He's going to be in right field. Because I got Albert in left field. Right? Something like that. Frank Thomas. He's my DH versus righties, I guess. Hack Wilson in center, hitting sixth. We get Donnie Mattingly in here somehow at first. All right, and we got Ernie Banks. We got Campanella. Banks there. And I didn't wind up with a backup third baseman, did I? Oh no, I did, Arenado. Or do I go with Arenado and Gloss versus lefties maybe? I don't know. We'll do something like that, yeah. Insert at third, and Campy is here. Alright. It's not really split up the way I would like there. Oh well. Alright, so now lineup number 2 versus lefties versus LHP. And using DH games. So I want to get Hank Aaron in here somewhere, so he'll be in there, I don't know, maybe hitting fifth as my, he's going to be my DH for now, I don't know. Sandy Alomar in here, catching, batting ninth. Ernie or Tulo, maybe we'll put Tulo in here. I forgot I have David Ortiz on the bench too. Frankie Frisch. Well, Carew's getting in here versus both. So, but maybe Carew plays first. Frisch plays second. Okay, something like that. Williams, 143 games. Albert, Thomas. Alright, Williams is here. Left field now, maybe? No, I still want Albert in here. You know what? Teddy's going to DH. Aaron will be... I think Aaron can play right field, I hope. Yes, he can. Aaron is my right fielder. There we go. Gloss at third, batting seventh for now. What am I missing? I am missing a left and right field. No, left and center fielder. Andrew Jones or Hack Wilson. Sorry, Andrew, you're just a defensive replacement in this league. Hack Wilson in here, center, and Albert, right? Albert will be my left fielder. And apologies to anybody who's stuck on the bench here. So anyway, this is my lineup versus lefties and righties. Depth chart I'm not going into, but you can if you want. I am not messing with these, but you can tweak your manager tendencies here. Player tendencies, you can really get into the weeds with this. And here's my report. All right, here's my lineups. Okay, cool. So we're going to stop here. Next video, we'll do the simulated season for this. Maybe we'll poke around on the other teams' rosters for a moment and just see who they have. And then we'll look at the results. All right, so Diamond Mine 12, conducting a solo draft. Hope you enjoyed this. Keep playing ball. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care.